This movie, what year did this come out? 1985?
I don't know.
1980, the same year as Back to the Future.
When Tom Cruise was only 47.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is immortal, which I think is what happened in this movie. We were doing our watch party on Discord, and you were like, how Tom Cruise hasn't aged? And somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they were like, oh, they made a deal with Tim Curry.
I said that.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I said off stage when Tim Curry was in full makeup.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise made a deal with the devil that he would never age.
He comes up with some zingers.
Accurate as fudge.
Make love.
Frack.
Frack.
Accurate as frack. Are we 30 seconds in yet?
I don't know yet.
No.
But we're watching Legend with 1985. Tom Cruise. What's Sloane's actual name? I'm sorry.
Sloane Peterson.
Is it Sloane Peterson?
Mia Sara.
Mia Sara and Tim Curry in this movie. God, it's my first watch. And holy cow.
I'm so excited to talk about this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. I was raised on this movie. This is a staple of my childhood.
Yeah.
I know all of the rhymes.
There's about 30% of this movie that I don't care about.
Yeah.
It's all just Mia and Tim Curry.
Fine.
I'm like, give me that for 2 hours.
Black dress dance is the best part.
The deep V. I was like, I was commenting in our Discord when we were watching this movie, and I'm like, give me more of that deep V. And V's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Wait, this one or this one?
No, this one. I was like, oh my God, it goes all the way down.
Yeah, it does.
And that big freaking collar. And she was all like,
and like the fucking
dude, when she was dancing.
I did it.
Oh.
It's okay. We're 30 seconds in.
Yeah,
I was really.
It's always me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're a sailor. It's okay. You're like on Blackbeard's boat. It's all right.
I love for me.
I was really curious how Alex was going to react to this movie because he had never seen it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like the whole time, I was like, Alex better not shit on this
he
movie.
Was fully invested.
I'm
oh my
so
God.
glad.
It was wild.
Like I said, there's parts of this movie that I was like, oh my God, like eye-rolly stuff. But then the vast majority of it was just Tim Curry. Just
I
like,
love this movie.
Yeah,
the way he would say words, like just like random, like, oh, it's gratuitous. And I'm like, oh my God, with the freaking horns and the teeth. And I was like, that's freaking Tim Curry.
I know. Okay, so we're talking about Legend.
Yeah, Legend, 1985. Tom Cruise, Mia, what?
Sarah.
It's Sloane from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And Tim Curry.
Can I draw attention right now to the fact that my hair is trying to be Tim Curry right now?
Yeah, you got a long way to go.
I did do my hair today, but now it's like, I want to be the devil.
Tim Curry, dude, that was an over-the-top devil. So
that's my favorite devil.
For people who might not know, I'm a big fan of the Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl is one of my favorite musicians out there, and I had no idea, but he did a music video with Jack Black and Tenacious D, where he played the devil playing the drums, and I was just like, that's a wild looking devil, and I realized now, having seen this movie, that he was just referencing Tim Curry, and I was like, amazing, well done.
There is no other performance of a demon or devil of any kind ever
that
in any
matches
movie
this
that comes close to Tim Curry as darkness in this movie.
You're absolutely right.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Was he okay? I have some. Okay, we'll get into the synopsis. So Jude, this is your pick.
Yeah.
Why did you pick it? And then you can roll into your synopsis.
Okay, so we had a discussion where we were going to do like 80s and 90s movies. And immediately the first movie that I was like, I want to talk about this movie with everyone because I didn't know if everyone had seen it. And it's one of the early Tom Cruise movies. It's whimsy, it's fantasy, it's good and evil, it's silly.
It's a bit silly.
Yeah, and it's 80s. And it has your girlfriend in it.
Definitely.
And I was like, oh my God, immediately I was like, I want to talk about Legend. I love this movie. Every single time I see it, like in the next Netflix scroll, I'm like, oh shit, easy choice. I watch this movie at least once a year, probably more than that.
Oh, wow. That's good.
I adore this movie. I remember this being just like on like HBO growing up and seeing like bits and pieces of it all the time. I know a lot of the dialogue of this. I think I know every rhyme. And while I was watching it with Kadish, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited to watch this. I love this movie. Do you love this movie? And he was like, I've never seen this movie. And I was like, what?
What?
Dude,
I was horrified.
I feel so sheltered.
Wait,
because
this guy has never seen this movie.
Yeah.
This was my first watch.
And He had never seen.
I'd never seen this. I didn't even know this movie existed.
This is why we should be together.
If somebody were to tell me, hey, there's a movie from 1985 with Tom Cruise fighting the devil, who was played by Tim Curry, I would have been like,
his girlfriend is your girlfriend.
And his girlfriend is my girlfriend. I'd be like, get out of here. That's
a liar.
That's lies.
Okay, so I remember this coming up during one of our discussions on one of our other shows, and me referencing it, and you being like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, no idea.
And it stayed in my brain memo, and I was like, when we started talking about like 2023, I was like, number one, I want Alex to see this movie.
100%. Is the brain memo? Is that an iOS update that I haven't gotten yet? Because I need the brain memo.
That's a Jude thing.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, if you want to plug in, I don't know if you want to though, because it's.
Would it be like that scene from Demolition Man where it's just like flashes of boobs?
You have to go into like
It's more like the Lawnmower Man.
You have to go into cryogenic freezing, and then I upload you with the update.
Like, whoa, I know Jude.
I don't want anyone to know me like that.
Anyway, yeah, I had no idea this movie even existed, and I had no idea what I was getting into walking in. I know Jude's style and does not typically line up with me normally. Sometimes it does. Like,
Sometimes.
I was a little bit concerned because you don't like movies with like devils and demons and stuff in them in general.
I generally try to stay.
This is fantastical enough that I thought it would.
But I was a little bit wondering how you were going to react to this movie because
he's not called the devil. He's called Darkness.
Darkness, right?
Yes.
But listen, this is a dark movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's freaky as hell.
Freaky ass movie. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just yeah.
So Jude, give us a synopsis.
Yes, please.
All right. First of all.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, she did it. There it is.
1985 legend, rated PG with a runtime of
It's
one.
PG.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
It should not be PG.
Wild.
This movie is terrifying.
I cannot show my 8-year-old this movie at all. Tim Curry would give him nightmares.
Yeah.
But did this come out before PG-13 existed?
85? I want to say
Because
yes.
Temple of Doom created the PG-13.
That was 82.
Okay.
How did this slip by as a PG?
It was early days of
No,
okay.
wait. Raiders was 82.
Hold on.
So Temple must have been like 85.
Let me Google it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Temple.
because they created, the MPAA created PG-13 specifically for Spielberg.
Temple of Doom
and
came
Temple
out in
of Doom.
1984.
84. So
This came out after, but it was probably...
They probably made them at about the same time.
They probably filmed it, and maybe the critics were looking at them around the same time. I don't know. There had to have been some kind of a little overlap.
They didn't rip anybody's heart out of their chest in this movie.
I can't. Is that the new standard? Like if you rip organs out of people?
Go.
It might have been.
Go.
Might have been a gore thing.
I'd let Tim Curry do that to me.
May I?
Go ahead.
Okay. 1985 legend, rated PG, with a runtime of 1 hour 34 minutes. This had a budget of $24 million.
That's it.
What do you think this made?
24?
That's it?
Like, how would they even make the sets for this thing?
Dude, we were watching this and we were in the Discord, saltandairdiscord.com. We do watch parties on Monday night.
I'm so upset that I missed that one.
We were tagging you.
Yeah, every Monday, Jude.
We were watching The Rig last night. We were up till like midnight.
Wasn't Willow like 30 million?
Yeah,
These are 1980s dollars.
Still.
Okay, I'm gonna go V first though.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this had a budget of $24 million. What do you think this made?
I don't know.
1985, $24 million.
I don't feel like I found this movie until later. So I don't know if the box office is that great. I want to say, I'm going to guess here. I'm going to say this movie broke even.
Okay.
$24 million.
Okay, Alex?
Broke even.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say double.
I think this is a cult movie.
You think it's a cult movie?
Yeah.
I have no concept of what 1985.
Little baby Alex, what do you say?
Yeah. I wasn't even born yet, dude.
I know, you're a child. It's okay.
How old does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really old.
You don't have to rub it in. My joints hurt right now talking about it.
Oh, Jesus. I'm going to say it at least doubled. I'm going to say it made 50 million.
Okay. So this movie had a budget of $24 million and had a box office of $23.5
It lost
million.
$0.5 million.
Vader wins another mini fridge.
So not only did it lose money, so in the U.S. box office, I believe it came in at around 5 million.
Yeah.
And then worldwide, it came in
wild.
at like 15.
They
20.
needed those other markets.
Apparently.
But it was funny because this got lambasted by critics. In fact, I believe Roger Ebert said that this was the extinction level event for fantasy films in the 80s, because after this movie bombed, studios were really gun shy about doing high fantasy stuff.
Those guys are assholes.
Well, I have to. Go ahead.
I want to say this. Actually, as the one person in this table who was actually alive at this time of the world.
Okay, fine. Sure. Just take it.
Maybe. I can remember it.
I love that for you. I was also alive, but I'm not going to.
I'm drunk. I don't remember what I was going to say.
If you're wondering why he's drunk,
Shady Mile.
we'll get to it. Go ahead. Finish your thought, please.
This movie was weird. This movie, everybody thought this was a weird movie.
Okay.
And nobody.
It is a
went
very
and saw
weird
it.
movie. It is a very weird movie.
And, you know, I personally, I thought it was a weird movie back then.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't into movies then like I am now. Last night watching this movie with everybody in a group setting with our friends, chatting about this movie made me appreciate this movie 100 times more now than I did back then. When you said we were watching Legend, I was like, thrack me. Okay. Because I did not want to watch this movie this week. I did not. I was not looking forward to it. It's a weird ass Tim Curry movie with Tom Cruise, you know, with
Put some respect on that
with his
name.
loincloth. But you know, after watching this movie, I enjoyed the hell
I'm
out
so
of
glad.
it opened my eyes because I watched it in a new light. I don't think I've seen this movie in 20 years.
Wow.
Probably 20 years.
Okay.
And it was almost like a first watch movie for me, but because I remember it being really dark, weird, and Tim Curry is the big devilly dude, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, we were making a lot of cracks about how you got to like go take a gummy before you watch this thing. It'll make it better.
Yeah. So I will say, as a
mean?
first watch for me, especially the first like 20 or so minutes when the story's getting set up with the unicorns and all this other shit, like I was watching this and I'm like, oh my God, like the editing and the high fantasy aspects of it were really like, okay, you need to be on something to appreciate this. Cause I was kind of getting annoyed at some point. But as the movie progressed,
Or you just need to be like a fucking professional and watch a movie.
sure, maybe. As the movie progressed, I appreciated it more. But we haven't got to the synopsis yet, so please.
We haven't?
Goodness.
Not yet.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Not yet.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, take it away.
Tim Curry is evil and hot. Tom Cruise is brave and hot. Sloane Peterson is innocent and hot. This movie is perfect. And there are rhyming goblins, drunk elves, unicorns, perpetual winter, a curse, true love, and a theme song with the movie title in it. When darkness wants Lily to rule over everlasting night with him, Jack and his forest friends must save her and the last remaining unicorn to save the world from being plunged into eternal night. Discuss.
I need to ask a question because I realized something when we were watching this on Discord.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned that this was a Ridley Scott movie.
This is Ridley Scott.
Weird, right?
Blew my mind.
But isn't it pretty?
it's
the director of Aliens and Blade Runner
And
made this
Gladiator.
movie, yeah, and this was his follow up to Blade Runner. Actually,
wild.
And what's,
It's fucking gorgeous. It's Make Love and Gorgeous. It's McLovin
really is.
gorgeous.
yeah,
This is a gorgeous movie.
there's like an era in Ridley Scott's career, and it was in the 80s, where like he was just on the forefront of like he was like the Zack Snyder level visualist
Careful.
of the 1980s. And like if you watch this movie, like the visuals are very stunning. And the way he approached this film was he said, I want to do a live action version of Disney animation. So like all the makeup and creature effects and stuff like that
I
were
think
all
it
like
was accomplished.
overblown, and it was very colorful and like very whimsical, and it had like beautiful cinematography.
Yeah.
This whole movie is like candy for the eyes. It's
Yes.
very pretty.
We were discussing the sets.
Yeah.
Like as they dive deeper into hell, the sets got more and more extravagant. We were watching like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I made the comment last night where I'm like, the saddest part to me is that all of these sets got struck.
That's a bummer.
It really is.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, when they finish the movie, they strike the sets. They destroy them.
Well,
they take them all out. They burn them or whatever.
What's funny is that there was actually a fire on the sets that burned them down. They had to like rebuild them in the middle of production.
Was it because light hit darkness and it inflamed everything?
If you
saved the world.
If you go in there and you watch this movie, and like I said, last night was the first time I've seen it in a long time. It was striking. The physical, practical effects and sets in this movie. It is unlike anything that you will see in any other movie. It is absolutely breathtaking.
They had a scene that reminded me, and I have, this is going to segue into another thought, but like there was a scene that reminded me so much of like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, where they went down into the mines of Moria.
Yes.
And that was done either by CG or some kind of a matte painting with the actors running through it. This, when they're running through that set with these giant pillars, I was like, that's freaking real.
It's practical.
It's wild, dude. I couldn't believe it.
That fireplace in hell or wherever they're at was just
Hell's Kitchen.
Next level.
Hell's Kitchen was wild. I couldn't believe that was all practical.
Baking people.
Dude, he popped out of a pie with pigeons.
Help me.
And you know, God forbid that Peter Dinklage was around back then.
Because he would have been
really
he would have poo-pooed.
Because, you know, they used real little people for the little people roles in this movie.
You know, what's funny is that Ridley Scott, like he didn't want to like use like a cast of little people because he was like, oh, that's so tropey. Yeah. Like, you know, like the Wizard of Oz, it cast midgets as like, you know, the little people. So he was actually looking into ways to do that, to take real people and scale them down like Lord of the Rings style back in those days. And like he was experimenting with this thing where he would shoot in 70 millimeter IMAX film and then scale it down to 35 millimeters. So you could shoot like a whole human in IMAX. And then when it's scaled down, it looks like, you know, a little person, but they were like, the studio was like, oh, that's going to be way too much money.
Yeah.
Listen, so, I got 2 words.
Wait.
Billy Barty was awesome.
Which one was that?
I love Billy.
Is that the guy from Willy Wonka?
He was one of the dwarves, dude. No, Billy Barty is the dude from, he's been in
Is that the guy in the pie?
He's one of the dwarf dudes.
Is he? Okay. Under the makeup.
No, the guy in the pie was the dude who plays the Oompa Loompa in the Harry Potter.
Willy Wonka.
In the Willy Wonka movie.
Same movie.
But Billy Barty is like he played the High Aldwin in the original Willow movie. He's been in a ton of stuff.
Okay.
He was the apex little person in Hollywood for decades.
He was the Peter Dinklage of his age.
Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yes. Like, what magic is all the magic?
I just personally, and
You'd be a child of the forest and not know the gum?
I mean, I might get in trouble for saying this, but personally, I feel like, listen, man, if you're going to do some kind of a high fantasy, if you got hobbits, dwarves, whatever, like, hire yourself some little people. Give them the work. Like, they deserve it. They should have it. Like, let them shine, man. Do it. It sells it. For sure. Yeah. I will say that Peter Jackson has spoiled me for dwarves and elves and all this shit, because anytime I see any other version of elves and dwarves and the hobbits and stuff like that, I'm like, it's cool,
here's the
but
thing,
it's not Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings cool.
Peter Jackson captured what those characters were supposed to look like in those movies.
Yeah.
Hobbits are just
normal people,
humans with hairy feet.
This is a much more simplified version of like this kind of universe.
They definitely took some notes from like Labyrinth and stuff like that.
Sure, but there's like goblins are the bad guys.
Right.
Elves are the good guys.
Jude, will you do one of the goblin rhymes? Will you do like the pork chop one?
Do you know it off the top of your head?
Dark as midnight, dark as pitch, darker than the foulest witch.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's amazing.
So one of the crazy things that Ridley Scott did was he sat down when he was going to make this movie, and he's like, I don't want to take an existing story and translate it to film. I want to come up with something original.
Okay.
And so they pulled from like Beauty and the Beast, Pinocchio, and like a bunch of like other Disney films. In fact, they when they were writing the script, they went to Disney and they were like, hey, Disney, would you like to produce this? And they're like, this is kind of dark for us. We just want to focus on family films. And so Ridley Scott did what was unprecedented in Hollywood and still to this day, which is like he actually made an original story with an original mythology. And I think he pulled it off well. Like it's, you know, they have a very long opening crawl on this film. But one of the interesting things about this movie is that the original cut was 2.5 hours long.
I totally would have wanted to watch that.
Sure. Yeah. And basically for American audiences, Ridley Scott felt like he had to cut out a lot of like the more cerebral stuff and a lot of the darker stuff. And so it became more of a traditional fantasy film for American audiences, where basically they cut an hour out of the movie. And originally James Horner had a score for this film that was replaced by Tangerine Dream because the studio wanted something to appeal to kids in order to get them, you know, teenagers, in order to get them to go see the movie and stuff like that. So the American version of this movie, which is the theatrical version that we watched, was extremely different from the original director's cut. In fact, Tom Cruise was so upset with the American cut of the movie that he refused to do publicity for the film when it came out. And even to this day, he's like, you know, just watch the director's cut because that's the real movie that I signed up for.
I really want to watch that.
Interesting.
Which version did we watch last time?
Whatever
the American version.
Yeah, whatever the 99-cent one that was on.
It was on Amazon, right? For rental? Okay.
Yeah.
So we didn't watch the director's cut.
That was the theatrical version.
Okay. And a whole hour left of this movie?
Yeah, an hour
I would
more.
love to see the rest of this
Not
movie.
only was there like an hour like longer, but it was an entirely different score.
Wow. That's wild.
It was a traditional score from James Horner. Who
Maybe we should do the director's
The
cut.
Maybe we'll do a
part 2.
A patron.
So
talk along.
The
whatever
bad
they call
guys
it.
are the best part of this movie. The goblins
the goblins.
and Tim
Great.
Curry.
Speaking of patron, because he mentioned it, I just want to make sure that people know that if they want to join our patronage, go to saltynerdclub.com and join up. We have a ton of extra content, a huge library for those people who are over there. We do Doctor Who and classic sci-fi shows. And this year we're doing commentaries on the original Star Trek TV show, episode by episode, complete breakdowns.
Wait, all year?
Until it stops
Until
working.
further notice.
Until further notice.
Doing the entire
Are you gonna
original
do your
series
scroll?
run?
We might just do it.
You gonna do your scroll every time you say that?
No, that's going to come at the end.
Okay.
But anyway, so I wanted to mention that because Salty Nerd Club, obviously we're not going to be able to not swear in this YouTube video. And because of YouTube's new policies, we're probably not going to make a lot of money on ad revenue. So if you want to support the channel, go to saltynerdclub.com and join up. You guys can talk about all kinds of really cool stuff with us. Join our watch parties on Discord and our commentaries on Star Trek. And lastly, not lastly, but next, I do want to shout out our
affiliate.
For this episode is Shady Mile Bourbon,
Yeah.
a Kentucky bourbon. Sent us a couple bottles. You guys can find their website at caskers.com, KASKERS.com, and buy their bourbon. It is legitimately good. We drink it.
It's really good.
Look at that amber color. It's so good.
It's
and it's
very
so smooth.
pretty.
Very smooth.
So we have the rye and the wheat
Yes.
in the studio right now. And once we're done with those, we hope that you will
Send us more.
replenish us with whatever else you got going
The
on.
more you send us, the more we'll talk about you.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's really tasty.
Caskers.com.
It's really good.
Go buy some.
I want to try and make a cocktail with it.
You know what I love too?
I think, you know what? Next episode, I'm going to make a cocktail out of this.
Yeah?
Shady Mile.
It'll be
Shady Mile
our
cocktails?
It'll be our.
They're going to be like, don't mix our whiskey. No.
What are we
We're
doing
gonna
next
mix
week?
it- we're gonna mix it with ginger beer.
We're doing superheroes next week. I'll make a
We are.
superhero cocktail.
Okay.
Next week.
We are, yeah. Next
Yeah.
week we're doing Superman and Batman, the
Classics.
originals. 78s and 89.
Yeah.
Anyway, legend.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to mention about this movie is that the guy behind the practical makeup effects is Rob Bottin, and he was the guy who did all the practical effects for The Thing. And he came in here.
Oh, okay.
He came in here after that traumatic experience with The Thing. And basically, he was responsible for the design of Darkness and the goblins and stuff like that. In fact, that main goblin who you always quote.
Blix. I love Blix.
So they based the face of Blix off of Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I can totally see that.
I see it. Yep.
I think Blix might be my favorite
Who was the-
character
who-
other than Tim Curry.
Has Keith Richards always been 100 years old?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, well, he starts over every 100 years at once.
Sorry. Go ahead, B.
What little dude actor played Blix?
It was a woman, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. It was
What?
a woman.
Yeah.
I looked it up last night.
Okay, let me rephrase my question. What little
Person?
chick actress
Oh my
played
God.
Blix?
Well, you know what's funny?
Nailed it. You nailed
So
it.
you know the Bog Witch, the like I forget her name.
Robert Picardo.
Yes.
That thing was terrifying.
That was the weirdest thing ever.
Scary as shit.
So basically, Rob Bottin, he also did the makeup effects for The Howling, and so he had a relationship with Robert Picardo.
Wow.
And so when they were designing the Mud Witch, Robert Picardo was the one playing her.
Yeah.
So
Completely unrecognizable.
She's terrifying.
unrecognizable. So
Alice Playton is Blix.
Alice Playton. Okay. And for people who don't know, Robert Picardo is the doctor from Star Trek Voyager. Like
Played the
that
Bog
guy
Witch.
played. I was
You'll be a tasty boy, son.
I was watching this movie and I'm like, this is freaking legitimately terrifying.
Yeah.
Like if I was a young child in the 80s watching this movie for the first time,
which
was
were.
you two, no wonder you're so fucked up.
Well, in '85, I was 15. So it's like, I know. I'm
In
old,
85, I was 9.
Yeah.
So
That would scar me for life. If I was 9 when I
watching
watched
this?
movie,
I
I would be scarred.
I never would have let
For
my
life.
kids watch this movie.
No.
I'd be like, you guys are gonna wake me up in the middle of the night crying because Tim Curry's trying to eat your soul.
I would be I would piss the bed till I was 12.
My parents told me that at 3 years old, I was watching Jaws on HBO going, get him, Jaws, get him.
Yeah.
So this is kind of par for the course for me.
Wow. Wild shit, man. That's
Farnsworth
crazy.
would show his kids. He just said.
Of course. he
Yes.
would.
Yeah.
He's
Oh my God.
twisted.
This is so whimsical. It's beautiful.
yeah, one of the interesting things about watching this movie is that so on the sets, you know, that like they have like snow blowing and stuff like that, and so the sets were so noisy that they had to go in and basically redub everyone's like lines
Yeah.
in post production. And whenever you do that, and 80s movies did this a lot. It adds like a weird kind of like surrealness to the movie where you're watching it and the audio is just a little bit off. Like it doesn't quite match like, the lips. And I see this so many times in 80s movies that like it just, if an 80s movie doesn't have it, it doesn't feel like an 80s
Well,
movie.
can you like? I've always thought about this, like the ADR. I complain sometimes about movies that have bad ADR, and like they have to go back and redub these voices. But can you imagine, like, just our podcast? Like, if you were to go and watch a video of our podcast, but there's so much background noise that we need to redo the voices. Can you imagine trying to match the same level?
I mean, have you
impossible.
edited a video where we're interviewing someone and the audio isn't matching up?
Oh, it's a pain in the ass.
Right.
Such a pain in the ass.
The thing that one of the few things that takes me out of this movie. So like Tim Curry as Darkness, you can totally tell that they've twisted his voice up and stuff.
Well, they deepened it a
It's
little
darker,
bit.
it's echoey, it's whatever.
No.
But
No, that's all him.
no, it's not. I'm sorry, Manir.
That's the sound of his vocal dick
I
hitting the table.
get it. And they did him well, and it fits.
Did he split the beard?
It fits him well.
It
okay?
does. It does.
But
It's gonna fit me good too.
God damn it. But listen, the weird elf dude, the elf kid.
Oh yeah, he annoys
His
me.
voice is the worst part of this.
He looks like
You'll
Malcolm
be a
in
child of the
no
forest and not know the gump.
It's the worst part of this movie.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh.
So they took.
He does look like Freddie
He
Nunez.
looks like Malcolm in the Middle.
He does.
But
like-
it's like they took a 9-year-old kid or 10 or 12, whatever the hell
He was
it is.
18.
Get
What?
the
Get out
what?
of here.
Sara was 16 when she shot that.
Get
Don't
out.
say that. Tom Cruise kissed her. He was 57.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Plus 100.
But the voice that they used for the elf dude, what is his name?
The gump.
Gum.
Forrest Gump.
For the Gump does not fit his whatever.
The elf annoyed me.
He is like my least favorite character in this movie.
At a certain point, like
That
once,
dude right there.
yeah, he's annoying as hell.
Yeah, he's annoying as hell.
Once
Don't you point at the gump when he's pointing at you.
you're annoying.
Because we have the movie on next to us right here. Yeah.
Touched her.
There's a
A
certain.
mortal laid hands on a unicorn.
I think it might be after Robert Picardo's scene as like the swamp witch or whatever. Like after that point, I stopped caring about Jack and his dwarves and elf friends. And I was like, no, just go back to Tim Curry and Mia. Like, I don't give a shit about anything else that's happening in this movie. Go back to hell. I want to watch what's happening there.
Originally, this movie was called The Legend of Darkness. But I think that
Yeah, I like that.
I think the studio cut that out because they wanted it to be like a little bit brighter and more
They
friendly.
didn't want people to get horned up while they were watching
Dude,
it.
like when they're in hell and it's like Tim Curry and Mia just verbally sparring.
Yeah, that's the best part.
That's the best part of this movie.
Just sit and talk with
Silence. Sit and talk with
Sit.
me.
talk with you.
And she, oh my God.
Nothing more. I prefer to
Yeah,
send.
I'm pretty sure,
Dude,
I'm
she
pretty sure Alex was just like sitting there jacking it on the other side of the table.
He
last
wasn't
night.
alone. It's a good thing that we were all alone.
So like I'm watching this part of the movie, and like again, that's my favorite part by far.
Absolutely.
Is in
The
hell
black dress dance.
with
Oh, that was great.
It's
dude.
gorgeous.
Was that
It's
him
gorgeous.
as like a or
No,
was
it-
that like an entity?
That was his avatar wooing her.
That's what, and then like it consumes her, and then she
consumes
comes out
her.
with the black dress.
Yeah, because she has to make the choice to join
Yeah,
the dance.
just visually,
and
that
you
was
can
stunning.
See, you
It was
can
great.
see she's torn because she starts dancing and then she's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and then she starts dancing and she's like, no, and then she starts dancing and then the dress goes like
That-
this and then she goes like this.
Yeah.
And for the audio only, my arms are outstretched.
Yeah.
And they embrace each other.
And then she
the
comes
next
out.
Scene, she is in
Okay,
the dress.
there's a couple
and
of things.
She is now even.
A couple of things about that. One, visually, perfection.
Oh my God,
Just
so
the set and the
beautiful.
dance and the choreography
Yeah.
is perfect. And then the editing, when it like wraps its arms around her and then she pops out, it's so seamless.
And
And like
she's so happy. She's
yeah.
so happy
she's
in
like,
that
oh,
moment.
embracing the darkness.
Yes.
And that was one of the things I loved about this movie is that I when I watched that scene, I felt like I was watching a stage play,
Yes.
but with like perfect special effects.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
You know
It
what I'm
did.
saying?
It felt like you were in the stands watching somebody perform on stage.
But then somehow she's seamlessly integrated with
So
the
good.
outfit.
So
I'm like,
freaking
wow,
good,
that
dude.
was,
And
it was really good.
Her facial expressions go from like being tormented to torn
Yeah.
to embracing to joyous to sorry, you know,
yeah.
to joyous to being horrified at her choice because darkness comes through the mirror where she's viewing herself. I'm so beautiful. This is amazing. I'm so happy. And darkness comes through the mirror and she's immediately horrified and regretting her choice. But there's no turning back.
Was I the only one who every time like they mentioned darkness in the movie, I kept thinking of the Chappelle
Charlie
show?
Murphy?
Yeah, Charlie Murphy.
Yeah,
Darkness.
I mean, bless him. He's always in our hearts.
But that scene in particular was probably peak this movie. Like it was the best part of the movie. And then
Yeah, that dance is my favorite part of the movie.
but what really attached me to that character and why I think I didn't give a crap about Jack and his little adventure, like I was like,
Yeah.
well, get out of here, your child's play bull crap. I want to go back to Mia because not only did she embrace this darkness then, but then there was enough of her resolve and her willpower left. She was fucking with the devil.
Yeah.
Like she was playing mind games with this guy.
Yes. And this is the
Going sparring, verbally sparring back and forth and keeping up with him. And he was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I'm just going to mess with you a little bit more. Let's go kill this unicorn. He's like, yes. Like
I'm hard right now. No.
that whole sequence of the movie is the only thing I cared about.
Yeah. So like the journey of Mia is so fucking interesting through this whole thing because she starts off, she is the innocence that has trapped the unicorn. The only thing that could have trapped the unicorn was her innocence. So she has come full circle from complete innocence to making a mistake to joining with the absolute darkness to
Keep talking, Jim.
being aware of the situation that she's in to fucking with him and playing him because ultimately she's so dark that she knows how to play darkness to get what she ultimately wants.
Yes.
Yes.
It's so freaking good.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you like this.
That's the only part I liked.
I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
I'm probably going to change the topic a little bit. So throughout this movie, darkness is always referring to or talking to his father.
Oh yeah.
Now is that something
That's the devil, I assume.
is that explored more in
I
the
had
longer director's
Dude, I had so
edition?
many questions about
I know
that.
you did.
Because
it's like, is he talking to God? Is he talking to the
So,
devil?
yeah,
who is father?
So what I
because-
think is that darkness is one of the sons of the devil.
Right.
And he's the lord over darkness.
But why does he represent visually the iconic devil figure? He's got the hooved feet
mean,
and the
don't-
horns and the red.
Don't you kind of look like your dad?
I don't really look like my dad. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Well, you're gonna morph into him soon.
I'm not gonna go bald.
So,
No.
in the original cut, we don't see darkness until about like a half hour into the movie, whereas in the theatrical cut, he's like in the first scene. I don't think we see the father that he's referring to. That's kind of like a more ethereal being.
Say that word one more time
Ethereal.
slower.
Ethereal?
Ethereal.
There you go.
But
Destroyer of words.
He's
over
not
here.
even drinking.
I know.
There's one scene in there where he is actually conversing with Father.
Yeah.
So
So a lot of the stuff that was cut out had to do with kind of focusing on the sin of man and like people who are sinners and like kind of like flirting with the darkness. Like Tom Cruise's character, like he wasn't like completely noble. In the European version, he actually was kind of like lustful over the Mia Sara character, where he just wanted to bang her and he like wasn't really in love with her. And then over the course of the movie, he falls in love with her, and so by the end his love is pure, but it didn't start off that way. And so like a lot of the focus was on this kind of like metaphorical the sin of man, and I don't think darkness's father, which is probably just like the void or the devil or something like that, played a big role. I think it was just a way for like a exposition trick to give darkness a reason to talk.
So watching it, because I had a lot of questions about this. I'm like, why is he talking to Father? Like, he is the devil. He should be top tier of like darkness itself. I feel like in my gut, and this is just my interpretation of it, it's probably wrong. It could be wrong. Doesn't matter. It's my interpretation. I feel like he's talking to God.
yeah, that's
Because
what I got.
Because in the beginning of this, with the big opening credit sequence where they have the whole exposition dump and like they're setting up the world with the whatever it's called.
And and the devil is a fallen
Yeah, and they're like,
angel
there is no life without death. There is no darkness without light. The whole yin and yang type thing. I'm like, okay, so he is the embodiment of darkness, and he's talking to his father about his plight and what he wants to do and what he wants to accomplish and all this stuff. And like, you can't kill darkness because you can't have light without darkness. So he's always going to be around. Like, I thought he was conversing with God himself.
That kind of brings us to the ending. So like there were like 3 different endings to this, but the ending to the theatrical version, which we watched, has Tom Cruise and Mia Sara kind of going off into the distance on the unicorn, and they're the embodiment of life, and they've brought magic back into the world. And then like Tim Curry is superimposed on them laughing as like the darkness. And basically I interpreted that as, because light is now so strong, it's brought darkness back to life, and he's returned. And so like this cycle continues like over and over again.
Man, a lot of meaning in this movie.
It's a really good movie.
It's a really good
I feel
movie.
like this is one of those movies that you every time you watch it, you're gonna
Appreciate
find
a little
something
bit more.
new.
Yeah.
It's
So
just,
because we've gushed over this movie for so long, and
So fucking so McLovin tickled that we have been gushing over this, because I legit was like, as I was watching it, I was like, I love this movie so much. If Alex hates it, and I thought that you both would like at least be nice, but I respect the fact that when Alex hates something, he's just like, bleh, I hate it. I don't understand it. But I really like had a whole lot of stock in the fact that like, oh God, if Alex shits on this movie, like I will be legit devastated.
No,
I'm so tickled right now that you enjoyed it.
The darkness aspect, that verbal spark, just that short scene of them two going back and forth redeemed everything I didn't like about this movie. Because there's a lot that I didn't like. Like I said, Peter Jackson has spoiled me on like goblins and elves and freaking dwarves and stuff. I don't like the way they portrayed the elves and dwarves and stuff. I feel like it's very like labyrinth, corny 80s stuff.
It's a little one-dimensional in the world of fantastical.
I don't care about Tom Cruise's Jack. He's freaking Peter Pan light. Like, whatever.
Right.
I'm just getting past that stuff to get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
But there was something that you and I were talking about when we were watching this movie, is the one fight scene in Hell's Kitchen that we thought was really dumb. It was so trash. Like,
awful.
He's just over there doing like random flips for no reason and like kicking the freaking giant pig man and whatever. I'm just like, it was
really choreographed.
I'm like,
did you like the plate scene?
The plate scene was fun. The thing that I liked about the plate scene, and not that I liked the scene itself, but the thing that I liked about it was that it was all practical.
It was building to something.
Yeah, it was building. It had a purpose,
Yeah.
and it was practically done, which I thought was really cool.
I like that.
Every bit of my good score that I'm going to give, every part of it, has to do with the practical and realness of this movie. There's a lot of movie about this movie that's really weird.
What did you guys think of the thirsty fairy?
Oh,
she was a
weird.
rapey bitch. Sorry, rapey ma'am. What did you call it before?
I'm watching this thing, and I'm going, and I was like, all we need is a boob nip slip, and we have a trifecta.
Got a trifecta. She legitimately tried to rape Tom Cruise in this movie.
It was weird.
It was super weird.
She was like, "Oh, you guys want to escape death and get out of this jail cell? I want Tom Cruise to kiss me."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay, a little bit of quid pro quo there."
Okay, also, like, how many of you have I all kissed? And it's not been a big deal. But he's like, no, I can't. I can't do it.
I'm in love.
Wait, how many of us have you kissed?
I've kissed all of you.
What?
Not like, blah, 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 but like,
Wow.
I'm giving y'all kisses.
This is the first I've heard.
I know, me too.
Y'all have kissed each other.
I mean, I made out with Alex once, but I don't remember making out with you.
You shut the hell up.
It's not public knowledge.
She has very soft lips.
Sorry that I brought it up.
She's a beard splitter.
Like we've kissed each other. I'm not trying to make this like fucking weird and sexy. I'm just saying,
Jude,
you can kiss a person.
Jude, you're giving people too much information.
Listen, we're a podcast.
I don't even think it's accurate
We're
information.
family, and we fuck.
Saltynerdclub.com to find out the truth. Join for only $5.
I need to go a shot.
You, Jesus.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I get one.
You can fucking kiss a person. Mwah. And it doesn't have to be part of a fucking curse.
There you go.
Mwah.
Oh, God, I'm cursed?
Now we're all Eskimo brothers.
Okay, now you go. Now you go. You go around. Just saying, Tom Cruise could have done it. And even though
Our Discord chat is going wild right now.
He's like, what's happening right now?
Alex is like, we agreed never to talk about that.
even though Luna was like, cool, that's a kiss, it still counts.
Okay, all right.
Well, also,
all right.
the dwarves were like giving him a hard time. It's like, dude, like we're about to die. Maybe you could like make out
You
with
just
her for
give her a smooch, you know?
Give her a fucking smooch. That's all the fairy wants. You don't have to give her your fucking kidney. Kiss her.
Yeah. And then he does kiss her, and he's like, mwah. And she's like, you bitch.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
But it still counts.
Yeah, it's weak.
He's like,
It was like that scene from The Matrix.
he's like
Remember
this.
when the French lady was like, if you kiss me like you kiss her, I'll give you the directions to the keymaster, and like whatever that whole scene from The Matrix. It's the same thing that happened here.
Kiss me like one of your French girls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I dig it. God, I don't know what else to say about this.
I love this guy.
Oh,
Screwball.
he got shot in the head.
He didn't. He got shot in his flask that was sitting on top of his head.
But
in
wasn't
his
it
flask.
blood?
No.
There was no blood there?
No.
I could have sworn there
That
was
was
blood
probably
there.
like honey meat.
That
or
was from the
something.
glass shattering.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They shot him with an arrow through his flask.
And he has a
under
flask on his hat.
Yeah.
That's
so
a
he's
Jude
wearing
moment.
a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
He's. If I were a goblin, I'd be Screwball. And also, I really love Blunder, who is the goblin that they meet in the jail cell, and also in the
I'm sorry.
in the pie. They meet him in the pie.
Our Discord chat just sent us a gif of Vin Diesel saying, I don't got friends. I got family.
I mean, obviously, we all live our lives 1/4 mile at a time.
Absolutely.
But Blunder and Screwball are my two favorite goblins.
Okay.
Oh, and
Are
Blix.
they goblins?
You know
I
what?
thought they were dwarves.
I love all of them. Okay, yeah, you're right. Screwball is a dwarf or an elf. Blix is a goblin, and Blunder is a mix of the two. So I feel like that's something that was left out in the editing, because the being that we meet in the pot pie and in the jail cell and all of that.
Yeah.
I forget which comes first. But he is part elf and part goblin, because I don't know if you
Is that
remember.
why he was like bluish green?
Yeah, and he's got like a different kind of arm on this side. You see him in one scene, he's like looking at like the difference of his appendages.
Okay.
And he's torn between the two worlds, and then he ultimately has to make his decision. If he's for good or for evil.
Yeah.
God,
look at that.
But yeah,
That's
he's
so
an
scary.
interesting character too. Yeah.
So, dude, Robert
Oh my
Picardo,
God. I love all of the side characters.
that is terrifying.
like this wench, I forget what she's called, the bog wench or something
yeah.
like that.
Well, it's a bog. She's in a swamp.
Yeah.
And she's like the swamp witch.
She's
Horrifying.
horrifyingly sexual.
No,
What?
No, but she is. She's like, I'm
listen.
gonna eat you.
Oh God, you have a weird twisted.
She's like a witch that wants to fuck her dinner.
Dude,
She is.
you watch this when you're 9. It explains everything about your personality to me.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, that is terrifying, and I can't believe that's Robert Picardo underneath all
I
that.
don't know if I have an argument, but I don't like what you said.
So, like, we don't always get to have awesome, freaking cool celebrities on the podcast, but when we do, we usually ask them like really interesting, fun questions. I need to get Robert Picardo because I've got like The Howling and this. And I'm like,
Mr.
dude,
Picardo, we have questions
Space.
about legend.
I'm like, I love you in Voyager, but
almost everything.
this is more interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This is
Robert
wild.
Picardo has a crazy filmography.
Yeah. Did you see him? He got chased by Chewbacca at a recent Comic-Con.
Good for him.
Which was really cool. He was like videotaping himself. And he's like,
that
I'm
was
running
pretty funny.
away. And like, yeah, Chewbacca's behind him. Anyway,
Wish you were here.
yeah. What else?
I guess he didn't let the Wookiee win.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to ask him if we ever get him on.
We've barely talked about the unicorns and how important they are to the story.
Yeah.
You
So-
cut a horn off.
You know,
Winner.
it's like magical.
I'll give a brief description.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
Lily, being innocent, she was allowed to approach a unicorn.
Okay.
She touched the unicorn and it kind of like nuzzled her hand or whatever.
Mhm.
And then it made the unicorns vulnerable to mortal touch, which is
Okay.
what has set this whole story into motion.
There's a parallel to Eden and Eve and the apple.
touching
sure,
the
sure,
yeah.
yeah.
That's how I saw it. Anyway.
Yeah. So pretty much immediately after Lily touches one of the unicorns, they kill the male unicorn. They cut off its horn, which is called an alicorn for the
Kind of a symbolic
the
castration.
dummies. Yeah. So they cut off the alicorn, and they use the alicorn as like a wand. The goblins are doing like
it does
fun
like
little
things.
spells,
Like it's
like oh, I'm gonna make this fire, burning fire.
I'm watching this scene in the movie, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna overcook that meat. They should probably cool it down.
Making music like a pyre.
Yeah.
And then darkness comes and he's like, that's mine. And he's like, oh, my lord, I'm sorry. And then like another goblin is like, ha ha, I'm going to defeat you. And darkness is like,
He sends a zombie
Sir.
after him.
Yeah, where the hell did a mummy come from? Just
rose
like
up.
sprung out of the ground?
darkness.
Okay.
Came from the darkness.
Sure.
Anyway, so the unicorns, they kind of embody the light and the innocence of this world. And if mortal innocence touches the unicorn, it makes them vulnerable, which has allowed darkness to try to kill the unicorns. So we have the pair, the male and the female. And so leading up to the end of this, they have captured the female unicorn, which embodies life because, lady bits.
Right.
And so
Lady bits.
Lady bits.
the alicorn and also unicorn uteri. Unicorneri.
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 Jesus Christ.
And so as long as the unicorn exists and the sun still shines, there's a chance. So they have to save the unicorn before the sun sets.
Okay. Yeah, they used the 1999 mummy mirror trick to get it to come out.
After
The
more
1999.
like the 1999 movie used this trick.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Again, I didn't give a crap about any of that stuff.
you don't care about the unicorn?
No.
Not really.
All I wanted to see was Mia and the devil. That's all I cared. Like once that happened,
I respect that.
I was like, why are we going back to Tom Cruise's freaking stupid Peter Pan shit?
When they start this movie with Tim Curry completely deviled out with his glowing eyes.
Set the bar.
and his
I
glowing
mean,
claws?
Dude,
and you go from that to
Whimsical
Tom Cruise
Tom
in a
Cruise.
loincloth. You don't
And his
give a
unibrow.
shit.
Yeah. and it's
Immediately.
Tom
hardcore 80s
Immediately,
unibrow.
I was like,
Yeah.
I don't even care what happens to my anatomy. I'm gonna hit
I
it.
mean,
I'm gonna go for it.
Tim
Is
Curry.
he maybe half horse? Fine.
I mean, Tim Curry as Darkness was in this movie the least amount of any of the main characters, but it's his movie,
yeah.
and it's just
This is my favorite Tim Curry.
Tim
Tim
Curry.
Curry?
Yeah,
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry movie.
for
Yeah.
sure. He just, the way the American version of this opens up, I guess, with him doing this thing is just was
Perfect.
wild.
You were
man,
when he
look
was
at that.
again the pronunciation of certain words that he does
yeah.
when he's like gratuitous,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
he
like,
just was
oh my
awesome.
god, just melting the dialogue.
You know what I love when he says, "Lady."
Or boy. When he calls Tom Cruise boy, he's
Yes.
like, you boy.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, damn.
Yes. When he calls Lily, he's like, "My lady." What have you, boy?
Yeah. Just melts.
Everything
Perfect.
he does is like just a perpetual emoji of the perfection.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the pinnacle of like, if you're going to play the devil, here's your benchmark.
if you've ever wanted to be sexy in your life, just here you go.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Here's the devil.
Oh my God. This is my favorite Tim Curry.
All
Then
right.
Tom Cruise went and made Top Gun movies after this.
That's
right?
better. That's more suited for him. I'm not really into whimsical Tom Cruise.
He did
Risky Business?
Risky Business, I want to say a year or two before this.
No, I've never seen Risky Business before.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh
I
my
know,
gosh.
obviously, I know
All
the.
right, I'm putting it on my list.
Yeah, I know the iconic scene, but that's really it.
And then he did Top Gun, I think, in 86.
87, I want to say.
He did it right after this movie.
Yeah, it was right after
Seriously?
this. It might have been the same year,
He
actually.
looks so much older in Top Gun than he
Still
does in
has
this.
the same unibrow.
Oh, fuck that unibrow.
Fucking shave your brow.
Dude.
I know you have since then,
Go to
but
man.
I'm upset at 80s you
Manscaped.
because I know you're watching
He
this.
didn't exist in the 80s.
If you have a unibrow, go to manscaped.com. Not a sponsor.
Also, you're 1,025 years old.
Oh, he was
Just
57 when he filmed this.
fucking get a tweezer.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's do final thoughts. Vader.
Final thoughts.
Give us a rating. Give it an honest rating, because I know you and I don't like probably 30 to 40% of this. movie.
No, my rating for this is 3.5 stars.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
That's a good rating for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I think. It's I appreciate this movie much more than 15, 16-year-old me back when this movie came out.
Agreed.
I thought this movie sucked back then. I did. I thought it was the dumbest fucking thing
Okay.
ever. But now sitting down and rewatching this, 30 years later, there was something I appreciated about it. And it was an interesting, fun watch. And given the direction movies have gone with everything being CGI and everything, I really appreciated everything that was practical about this movie. It's very well done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like Ridley Scott's vision of what he wanted to put on screen was above and beyond what they had.
This is a movie that I think I'm going to appreciate more as I get older. I never want to see a remake of this.
No.
Do not touch this movie.
Correct.
Yeah. You can't, there's Tim Curry's gone. You can't do it.
Is he gone?
No, he's still
No,
alive, but
he's
he had a heart attack, so he can't like speak.
Oh, that's
correctly.
Wait
Oh.
a second. I thought he was gone.
No, he's still
I
alive.
think he had like a stroke that.
That's too bad.
Affected
He
his
had a
voice.
stroke. He can't speak right anymore. I think part of his body doesn't work.
That's no good.
But he's
I
still
would
alive. Yeah.
Love to see if
But,
we can get him on the show, though. I adore
Oh,
him.
he's savage, man. Like if you see him in interviews now, he doesn't give a crap because he doesn't have to worry about his career anymore.
But I think this is absolutely one of those cult classic movies. I appreciate this movie much more now than I did back then. It's an easy 3.5, maybe 4 stars, but I'm gonna go 3.5.
Okay.
It's good stuff, man, and I really enjoyed it.
I want to apologize to Tim Curry. I'm sorry. I thought he was gone. I just Googled it real quick. He's still
He'll be all
alive.
right. He'll be okay
I
with
thought
you.
for sure he was.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry, man.
He's mad at you.
My bad. He's gonna show up in my bedroom in the night
he's gonna get
dressed as the devil.
He's gonna send you some bad darkness memes. On Twitter.
Something, yeah. I'm so sorry, man. I could have sworn he died a couple years ago. Am I bad, dude?
He almost died.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all right. Well,
Him and Val Kilmer are coming after
the
you.
world is a little better. I thought he was gone. Man. Okay. I was watching this movie under the presumption that he was no longer with
No,
us.
he's still around.
Good for you, buddy. All right. Jude,
Okay.
is this a 5-star?
Well, I just want to preface what I'm about to say with maybe innocent, maybe sweet, ain't half as nice as rotting meat.
That's my favorite
The
one.
voiceofjude.com. Hire her for your YouTube. She'll do voiceovers.
5 fucking goblins out of 5. I love this movie.
Thought so.
Yeah.
Thought so. Right on. What's your
Yeah.
favorite moment?
Ooh, it's got to be the black dress dance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love Blix. He's my favorite goblin. But also, I love Screwball. I love Blunder. I love darkness. I just want to be a goblin.
Oh God.
I want to be a goblin bride. I want to be the black dress.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I will kill a unicorn.
Oh Jesus.
I mean,
That's not good.
I'm not going to be like, yeah, fuck that unicorn. But I'll be like, I'll weigh the consequences. And yes, sounds good. I hate the light. I live in darkness. You all know.
Jude does hate natural light.
I don't like it either.
She painted the kitchen black, just like the studio.
Yeah, I love swimming, but if I could do it in total darkness, that would be my optimal.
Nice.
I'm going to talk to you in a minute after the podcast because I have some ideas for you.
Okay,
All right.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
Kadish, give it a rating. What's your final thoughts on this one?
So I love Ridley Scott movies from the 80s. This movie is beautiful. It's original. The practical effects are amazing. On a technical level, this movie is fantastic. On a story level, it's a little bit boring.
I'm so excited for a second.
Has some slow moments for sure.
It's got some very slow moments. You can tell that it was like really cut down. I would have liked to have seen the director's cut to compare it to. But overall, like, it's not a bad movie by any means. It's just not a movie that I have as many good feelings about as Jude does. So I am going to give it 3.
It's not enough.
3 alicorns out of 5.
3.9?
3. Straight up 3.
Okay.
So real quick, I just remembered. So at one point, Darkness does pray not only to his father, but also to his mother. If that makes a difference for you. He says something about Mother Night.
Okay.
Something, fold your arms around me, Mother Night, something like that. And so I don't know if that makes a difference for you, but I just
there's some mythology to explore here.
Yeah.
I was really intrigued by that.
I feel like he is the son of the devil. I don't think he's the devil.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, he also he wants Mia Sara's character as his bride because he's tired of all the loneliness.
Yeah.
And her innocence fascinates him. And,
Yeah.
and
that moment where he's like, "I love you," and she's like, "Love," and he's like,
No. He doesn't say I love you. He says I want you to love
"Oh
me.
yeah." Because he wants like love is a light. It's
obey me.
Yeah. Love me or something.
Do
like
this
that.
for me. Love me. And she goes, love? And that is what turns the tide for her. And she's like, maybe you said love. We could have love. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to play you.
Oh, she's so savage.
She is. She's a smart girl. And she's being portrayed from the beginning as just like this dumb, rich girl who just floats through life, and she figures her way out of all of this. From the beginning, she has said, I made this mistake. I'm going to make it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and that moment where Tom Cruise is like holding the arrow and the dwarf or whatever is like, shoot her, shoot her. And he's like, no, I trust you. I trust you're not going to kill the unicorn. And he aims at the devil.
Honestly.
Well, Jude would have killed the unicorn.
I 100% would have killed that unicorn. Also, if I was Tom Cruise, I would have
Look at her. Look at those looks, man.
Yeah, she's desperate.
Listen, I love her in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but she actually works it in this movie. She's acting in this movie.
I didn't realize she was Sloane until you guys told me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
she's
bro.
also
I hadn't even thought
Time
about it.
Cop's wife.
Oh, be still my beating heart. God, she's so gorgeous.
She is.
If I was,
remember that
she's
time
got
in
a-
Time
she's-
Cop?
She's got like
Remember
a,
that time in Top Cup?
she's got like that natural prettiness.
she's the girl next door.
Take you home to mama.
Yeah.
Kind of look
For
Okay,
sure.
You guys
know?
always make fun of me for saying like that people are ethereal. Do you get it now when I
Yeah,
say like a
absolutely.
woman is ethereal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I was kicking it around in the late 80s, early 80s, or late 70s, early 80s, I'd be like, I'm moving to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get in touch with Mia.
You were kicking it there?
I was kicking it, just kicking it casually in LA in the
Well,
late 80s.
this was shot in the UK. So.
Oh, fuck. All right. For my score, I love 40% of this movie.
Low, bro.
Well, how much time do they really spend
Yeah.
in hell sparring back and forth with the
About
devil?
40%.
That's what I love about this movie. The rest of it, the freaking frou-frou, feathers floating in the air, freaking unicorns, Tom Cruise running around with loincloths. I'm not into that.
Jumping off the cliff.
I don't care. I just don't
Into
give
the
a shit
water.
about any of that stuff. I'm going to give it a solid, rewatchable 3.5 stars for me. I had a great time with this movie. It might go up in the future.
Not good enough, as Flicks would say.
3.5 stars for me. Really, really great movie.
Another great thing that Blix has said is, wow.
If you guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. If you guys want to support what we do here, obviously we're not going to make any money off of YouTube's algorithm because we swear too much. Go to saltynerdclub.com and join the club membership area. You guys are going to get 4 exclusive podcasts every single month. This year, exclusively, we're talking about Star Trek, the original series. We're doing full commentaries episode by episode. So if you love that show as much as we do and you want to join us, we'll give you timestamps. You can watch along with us. It's going to be a ton of fun. Really looking forward to exploring the original series of Star Trek and help support the podcast and what we do here. And join us on Saturdays. You have Saturday morning live streams going on, right?
I do. Me and Mr. Kadish over there, we get together with some friends of ours, Brian from the Popcast, Odin from OMB Reviews joins us once in a while. Who else we get? Culture Casino. All kinds of different guys come in and join us. We kind of rotate them through, and we talk about what's going on out there in pop culture.
Right on.
And it's fun. I have a great time doing it. We have a nice, real good core group of people that come watch us every Saturday, and it's growing every week. So
cool.
Yeah, come join us there every Saturday morning on this channel at 10 a.m.
Right on. What are you pointing at, Jude? Oh, yes. Yeah, the scene.
This is that
the
scene.
black dress scene.
Yeah, black dress. He comes through the mirror.
Oh, the hoof when it hits the ground and it's like thud.
You made your bed.
Yeah.
Get me in it.
Look. Get me in. Look at that deep V.
Look at that deep V.
Oh!
And that high collar. So she can't see anything but you. Fucking patriarchy. I mean, you did one thing right. Look at those horns.
Those horns are wild, dude.
God.
I'm sorry. We're just watching the scene. We're going to gush over it for about 3 more seconds.
Everything in this scene.
Look how
amazing.
big he is.
This is what I want for my wedding. All of this.
Are you going to dress like that for your wedding?
Or are you
I'm talking to you, buddy.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
He's going to
I'll
have the
put on some horns.
eyeliner and the horns and everything.
We can dye your beard
The
red
hooves.
and kind of make it like pointy like
We've
that.
gone from Harry Potter to
We're going
Legend.
to give him that double chin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Come on. I'm a Billy Goat.
Speaking of Kadish, do me a favor, bud. Where can they find the official Salty Nerd Podcast Twitter account?
They can find us at salty_nerd on Twitter. We're growing over there pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And ever since Twitter has taken off the censorship belt, we've been having a lot of fun over there. So come join us.
Yep. Thank you, Elon
We can
Musk.
swear over there.
We can swear over there. Yeah. If you guys want to catch our unedited raw content, definitely head over to saltynerdclub.com.
Yeah, we also do Twitter Spaces live. So.
Yes, absolutely. All right, that's it for the podcast for Legend. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat live right now. We got Whiskey Jack, Def Row, a whole bunch of you guys. Bro Buffett is in there as well. Thank you so much for joining us live. Every Tuesday on Twitter Spaces, we record this podcast raw and unedited for your listening pleasure. So join us over there on Twitter, and don't forget to follow us.
Join us on Facebook at saltynerdgroup.com.
Jude figured out she has a
All the
Facebook.
time. I'm in there all the time.
All the time.
Are you going to put some stuff there?
Mostly it's other people. Anthony Mark, mostly it's him.
Anthony does a great job on our Facebook group.
Anthony is
job.
everywhere.
Thank
He posts
you.
this shit everywhere.
He comments on every
Thank
Instagram
you.
post.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be in there too.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week. We're talking superheroes, Superman and Batman.
Yeah,
Stay
it's fun.
tuned. Stay safe.
I'm excited.
I am too.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeves. The OGs.
I need to interject. We need to kick Bro Fett out of the Salty
Why?
Nerd
What
Club.
did he say?
Okay.
Because he's putting,
Whatever you say, babe.
he's putting Rings of Power gifts in.
Oh, I'm deleting that right now.
Give me the
Rings of
Give
Power.
it to me raw.
Deleted.
Do more Tim Curry Devil.
Yeah. More of that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Stay salty.